Well, interesting bit of information from the SRS Rocco report. U.S. gold bullion exports to Hong Kong surge. 82% of total shipments went there. And wait till you hear the numbers versus what we would produce every year. I saw a little cartoon thing depiction the other day. It was kind of cute, you know what I mean? It was kind of like a little border. China over here, U.S. over here. Them throwing piles of paper money at us, and us throwing big heavy gold bars at them. So we got the paper, they got the gold. Talk about relevant to what's really happening. U.S. gold bullion exports to Asia started off with a bang in 2017, as the majority of the total shipped in January went to Hong Kong. Not only did the U.S. export most of its gold bullion to Hong Kong, it was the highest monthly amount in quite some time. Looking back at the data for the past 2 years, Hong Kong's highest monthly amount of gold bullion imported from the U.S. was less than half of what was shipped in January. According to the USGS, the U.S. exported 31.6 metric tons of gold bullion to Hong Kong, which is 82% of the total 38.1 metric tons shipped in January. The 4 other countries that received the remaining amount was China, a little 2 metric tons, India, 1.6 metric tons, Singapore, 1, and Switzerland, 1. Hong Kong, 31.6. If we assume that most of the gold bullion exported to Hong Kong has made its way into China, which I think would be a very good assumption, then if we add the other 2 metric tons that China received, the total gold bullion shipped to China was more like 33.6 metric tons. Either way, the overwhelming majority of U.S. gold bullion exports in January went to Asian countries and India, 35.2 metric tons. Switzerland only received 1 metric ton of gold bullion from the U.S. However, Switzerland also received 14.3 metric tons of gold door bars and precipitates from the U.S. The majority of this amount likely came from domestic U.S. gold producers. Regardless, to see Hong Kong receive 82% of the United States finished gold bullion bars in January is quite impressive to say the least. If we convert that from metric tons, it comes out to be a little more than 1 million ounces. This is a great deal of gold because the United States domestic gold miners only produce 18.7 metric tons of gold, approximately 601,000 ounces. Furthermore, the U.S. total gold imports in January, bullion, door bar, and precipitates. Precipitates? What the hell is precipitates? Precipitation? What is this? Never even heard of that. Been doing this for how many years? Never heard of that word used regarding gold, whatever it is. Gold. We're 18.9 metric tons. Thus, total domestic mine supply plus imports equaled 37.6 metric tons. The U.S. exported 84% of their total gold mine and import supply to Hong Kong. If we include the total amount of gold that the U.S. exported in January of 55.4 metric tons, which is bullion included in there too, bullion, door bars, and precipitates, the U.S. exported nearly 18 metric tons more gold than they produced and imported. Of course, the majority of U.S. gold continues, as the cartoon said, to go east into Asian territory. This is a bad sign as the Federal Reserve and U.S. government continue to prop the domestic economy and financial system with debt and derivatives. Sure, China is also has a lot of debt, but they are also acquiring one hell of a lot of gold. When the overdue financial crash happens and the dust settles, China and Russia will be holding onto a lot of physical gold, while the West will be holding onto a lot of worthless paper. Now, if you believe something that Bix Weir has talked about numerous times. We had this unbelievable stash of some kind of, gold from the Grand Canyon, and we've been sitting on it. You've never heard about it, but we have it, and it is absolutely massive of, epic proportions. Now, I remember, because I've seen a few documentaries and things about this, that they found Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon in like the early 1900s, and they sealed it off in hush-hush. It's now a no-fly zone. You can't take helicopter rides down there. You can't go down there. It's off limits, the whole area. So when I hear that, there's something to the story. There's absolutely something to that story. Is that the gold Bix Weir part of his supply? Was it Egyptian stuff, pure gold stuff? Did we melt it down? What did we do? No idea. But if you believe we have an enormous amount of gold of epic proportions, then we may not be holding a bunch of worthless paper per se. But I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see one way or the other. It will be interesting to see how much more gold flows to the east this year as the U.S. economy and financial system begin to disintegrate. While the Dow Jones Index could continue to move higher on more hype and hot air, its valuations are extremely overvalued. So is the S&P 500. Stay tuned for U.S. gold export updates as the USGS releases them. Check back for new articles and updates at the SRS Rocket Report. You can also follow us at Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube below. Of course, I'll be linking this site for you. Let me just see when this was written, because, does it have a date? Oh, April 10th. Well, the last video I just did was the 11th. 11th, or was it the 12th and 13th? And the S&P is looking bad. Dow Jones dropped another 138 points on top of 40 points or something the day before. So, yeah, like he said, could they prop it up with a little more hot air? Sure. That's like saying, could they nail silver and gold again right now? Absolutely. Just throw more fake paper at it and knock it down, baby. So, this is a prime, and I mean prime, reason that you must own precious metals. And if you were to argue, I'm a gold guy, I don't mess with silver. Listen, I'm a silver guy, and I don't mess with gold. And I can give you a bunch of reasons why I think silver's going to be better. And I'll give you a few. The 70-to-1 ratio currently, when it should be 20-to-1, 15-to-1. In all honesty, it comes out of the ground, I think, at 8-to-1. 8 ounces of silver per 1 ounce of gold. It should be 8-to-1. I mean, obviously, just simple math. But historically, it's hovered between 16-to-1 and 20-to-1 with gold for long, long, long periods of time. But in this insane world today, it's 70-to-1. So if you took the 70-to-1 and brought it back down to 20, silver would almost, not quite, well, let's see, 18, 70-to-1. Well, it'd be getting close to tripling, or right around there anyways, ultimately. So round off, $20 silver times 3, $60, boom, like that. Then put in the chaos and people flooding into precious metals because of what happens in the markets, in the low to no confidence in government, as correctly being predicted by Martin Armstrong with his economic confidence model, who long ago said this year, so I think even starting at the end of last year, is when we enter a period of no confidence, globally speaking, America speaking, of government. And if you have no confidence in government, then you're going to have no confidence in their paper market Ponzi scheme of anything. Bonds, IRA, put your money in the bank, put it in the stock market. You're not going to trust any of it. So what can you trust? Well, just happen to have this here forever. One of these, little panda. This is the panda 1 ounce. It's a very high selling coin from, speaking of, from Asia, Chinaman, Hong Kong. But you could have gold. It'll do very well. You're going to be really, really happy with gold. I just think you're going to be doing backflips with, if you have silver. And people do ask, well, what, I saw some comments today actually. Snippy, man, how many ounces should a middle class person shoot for? I've never heard it asked like that. A middle class person as opposed to any other class person. But it does make sense, because if you said I'm filthy rich, how much should I shoot for? Versus I'm middle class, or versus man, I'm able to save a little bit, but very little. I live paycheck to paycheck, but I do have a little bit saved up. Honest answer would be I'd try to shoot, no matter who you are, 500 ounces. 1,000 ounces, you'd be really good. I think you're going to be doing great. But just do the math. $500 silver. I do not, again, that may sound crazy right now. It's not going to. Someone buying a house during the Weimar Republic collapse and all that with a little ounce of gold. And then what was the other story of someone bought a hotel? Doorman gave him a gold coin as a tip or something. The whole economy collapsed. Dollar dived. Bought the hotel for one gold coin. It has happened and it will happen again. Great empires fall, and this is a great empire, and as you can see, we're falling. So what does a cornered animal do in the corner, in the corner, thus being cornered? He lashes out. Are we lashing out right now? The mother of all bombs has been dropped. North Korea, Syria. And I can't stop thinking about the prophet guy or, the Dr. Orua. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Who years ago said he saw Korea, North barrage of missiles, aircraft carrier in the sea, and as well as shooting at South Korea. And we already got an aircraft carrier over there, I believe. And now a little, what are they calling it? Not a flotilla, but a strike group, carrier strike group, is heading over. It's getting close. And Donald Trump has just shown by setting the world's largest bomb, non-nuclear bomb off in Afghanistan, in a strike, just a show of force basically, in Syria. And now he's heading, so Afghanistan, we're not faking it, we did it. Syria, we're not faking it, we did something there. North Korea, now what? Magic 8 Ball? I don't want to have to ask you because I don't give a crap what your answer is. I'm not even going to ask it. Don't need to. And that's just a joke anyways. But all of this leads to people getting in fear and want to protect themselves. I don't like what I'm seeing. I need to pull back from my norm and start thinking differently. One of those things will be to put my money into something safe. And that, of course, as I always say, precious metals. And I see some of the stupid comments out there. You've been saying this for years, so have other people. It's been years. It's been years. Nothing's happened. Do you know how small of a period of time several years is? 6 years, 7 years, whatever. 10 years? It's nothing. It's not even the blink of an eye. It's nothing. What happened to the Roman Empire? Did it crash in 10 years? No. It took a long time, as a matter of fact. And that was back then when technology wasn't flying and everything happening so fast like it does today. But we've also started 2017 with a bang, like I thought we would. Just like last year was exciting and more exciting than 2015, and 2015 was more exciting than 2014. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. Wife just sent me an email. Water shortage for certain parts of Florida. Yeah, quick, look surprised. Good thing I live somewhat close to a river. Got my big Berkey if I need that sucker. Plus I got the reverse osmosis water filter. And I've got like little pond pumps. So technically speaking, and got a water distiller, just a plug-in countertop deal. Take that nasty water, distill it. At that point, as long as we have electricity, no problem. And if I don't have electricity, the solar panels will be going on the side of my house, facing the sun, from sitting in my garage collecting dust, to power up a system, so that we could plug some stuff in. Again, big emergency if that was a big emergency. But I'm telling you now, and you remember when Cliff High, I said, was it yesterday? I said, look, I've been in his Webbot personally before, and he's mentioned me. He doesn't keep it in the Webbot report for the whole world to read. He just sends me a little email. Hey, Joe, man, a little FYI. And I mentioned, almost got the crap shocked out of my leg. It was a near workplace accident, near miss at work, like he said would happen. I've never had any near workplace accident since or even before there, and I've been at that company for, I don't even know now, 12 years? 11 years, something like that. 11 or 12 years. One and only time ever since, and that was a few years back. But he said, you're going to be vindicated in the near future. It's in the data. Data is showing something you've said It's not a lot of data on it. And for whatever reason, every time he talks to me about myself, snippy, there's hardly anything in here, but I did grab this, and this is what it said. I don't know take it for what it is. But he said, I'm going to be vindicated in the near future. So I'm going to tell you the things that come to my mind. I already mentioned two the other day, but there's now a third one. First one, I made a scenario, not a prediction, a scenario, that the COMEX market, CME Group runs it out of Chicago, that there might be a terror event that knocks down the exchange, can't trade on the exchange, it shuts down. Again, they will never default. They will never default, I've said that. They need an event. Maybe they get hacked, terror event, something along that line. That's one thing. The other thing, North Korea. Missile strike from this guy, this prophet guy. I said it back in 2011, etc. I shot his video back then. Look, here's a video. It's still up today. You just type in JSNIP4 Korea or North Korea or N Korea, whatever. Just type in JSNIP4 Korea and you'll see it. And it's a picture of the guy. He was a black dude. I think he's an African. And he actually was in America teaching at a college, I think, University of Michigan or something, or Wisconsin, before he, said, I had a calling to God and this is what I went and did. But he does have a track record. Anyways, the third thing, how the hell did this slip my mind? Like, as the first choice I should have gave you when I talked about this, my three things. Maybe I'll get a little redemption, like Cliff says. Oh, you're gonna get a redemption later. You're gonna get some notoriety for something you've said, and it's supposed to be soon this year, according to him. Precious metals. If precious metals finally just explode, circuit breakers triggered. Like whoa, what the hell happened today? Oh my God, it's up $5 today. Oh my God, Webbot said $5 moves would happen first, then $20 moves were going to happen soon after. That would be the redemption of all redemptions for me, because I've been pushing that. And I got it from his report. It wasn't about me. But I can see how and why that could happen. And I've been pushing that for years because I so believe in it. It is going to happen. I know it is. He seems to think, I saw him on an interview recently with, I saw it on Silver Doctors. I think he was being interviewed by them too, where he said very recently, it's looking like very near future, like the next month or two, they're going to take off. Metals are it's finally, the control is going to start to be slipping or whatever, and they're just going to go. I will give you the cautionary thing here, though. When it comes to metals, timing and price movements are way off on the Webbot report. I wish they were even kind of close to the Bitcoin predictions in movement, because it's phenomenal, which is what I'm not going to ask for it to be just as phenomenal. Just get close. Maybe it's off by 6 months, a year. I'll take, But the point here, the big thing here is, when stuff is in the Webbot report and it keeps showing up and it keeps showing up and it's there 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 and every report, but it doesn't happen. It's like I don't even know what you want to call it. It's built in. It's engraved in stone. It is going to happen. But don't try to figure out when, other than sometime in the not so distant future. But recently he's saying he thinks it's really going to be quite soon. If these countries are importing this stuff en masse, and by the way, I saw an article, some people sent it to me also. I didn't do a video on it, but it was India, massive, latest data, massive importation of gold, but the mainstream is up due to the wedding season in India. Gold imports are slightly up because of the wedding season, and gold is a gift that they give only on weddings. Playing it down. Oh, this is normal. Oh, it's a normal. Yeah. No, it was huge. It's a large importation of gold into India. You have to be the fly on the wall. And if you turn on the TV, it's like the fly on the wall. Oh, let me go look over here. Oh, look at the bright light. Look at the bright light. And the bright light is the mainstream media telling you all kinds of crap. Don't look at it as a fly, member of the insect family, bug, flying variety. You really want to look at that light. Oh, that light. Like I got these two lights right here, actually, that light my face up. I got one over here, one over here. They light the green screen behind me and myself a little bit, plus the little ceiling fan light. If I was a bug, look at that. No, fight it. Let me listen in over here and look at what's happening over here. Screw the light. I'm taking one for myself this time. Oh, they're bringing in lots of gold and silver and precious metal. Oh, and they're getting higher and higher, and the numbers are going higher and higher. And we just sold them more than we produce in this country, just went over to Asia. Ooh. Would you think something's up if all of a sudden the whole world changes its attitude and thought about precious metal, this old relic, like you find in your grandma's basement or attic or something, when the whole world's full of paper dollars and debt and digits, digital digits, but all of a sudden they change course and start with two hands, two fistfuls, give me the precious metals all of a sudden. Would you be a little alarmed? Oh, I wonder why they're doing that. At the very least, I wonder what made them change their mind. Wonder why they're doing that. And since it just happens to be a sovereign giant country, multiple, me as a little guy, I think I might want to do what they're doing. Just in case, because they clearly know something that I don't and I'm not hearing about. They're not saying any reason whatsoever why they're doing it. No country to date has said, this is why we're doing it. This is why we want gold. This is why we want a bunch of silver. Has JP Morgan come out and said why they're scooping up every month like the maximum quantity of silver off the COMEX deliveries that they possibly can get their hands on? JP, what are you doing? No comment. No comment. And considering it's JP Morgan Chase, Rockefeller owned, and they're going after silver, not, so much gold, silver. I wonder if old JP knows a little something that myself and some others think we know, and I'll say we think we know, that silver is going to be, that 70-to-1 ratio is coming way down, and not only that, it's going to flip and go to the freaking moon, price-wise. And JP Morgan wants to be one of the only last guys. I've got tons and tons and tons of silver. You're going to have to pay a premium. Can you imagine the day when JP Morgan comes out and says, we've got the silver that everybody needs, but it's going to be at a premium? Not silver eagles, just bullion, just bars. Plain Jane bars. And they'll sell it to mints and whatever. Here you go, at a premium. And then they're going to have to create a premium on top of spot price because of the premium they had to pay for the only supplier, JP Morgan at the time, because there's a panic to own it, etc. I can see this playing out so freaking easily. So, again, another thing in your face that says countries are buying it, you should buy it. I know it's been years. Oh, it's been several years. It still hasn't. I know. But it's going to go up when the club allows it to go up, which is why the club is gearing up for it to go up. Thus, the reason they're buying all this freaking physical. JP Morgan, for instance. And you say, well, we're not buying a bunch of gold. What if Bix Weir's thing is correct, his thought? And we have so much gold somewhere, we could trickle off all your mining supply from this country and it means nothing. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and find out. So, have a good one.